Okay. Sweet.
You got records.
Oh. Thank you. Patrick.
Nice, Patrick. Nice.
That's your one job. It's your one
As producer.
Good job.
Do I need to bring a laminated checklist?
That would be nice. Check. Yeah, it was a beehive this morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Let's roll the intros. Good morning, love. Patrick, our dear, enduring friend.
Good morning.
This podcast contains adult themes and language. The views expressed here are our own opinions and experiences. We are not medical professionals.
In this podcast, we discuss our opinions about mental health, sobriety, addiction, and our pursuit of happiness and peace. This is Sober Mind.
Shit, I forgot to start on Podbean. That's okay. People will catch up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Man, it is.
Is everything started?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Salmon is on the smoker. It's been a busy week. Patrick, Judy and I have a lot to discuss about our mental health and where we're at and what's going on. But yeah, we got Patrick and his family coming over. Our good friends, Brian and Laura, who have been on this show. They're coming over. We got a salmon on the smoker. It has been prepping for 18 hours. It is delicious. Delicious smelling. And we're going to do gigantic, I'm talking 4-inch jumbo tiger prawns, jack stack, barbecue style, which is...
Just divine.
Let me give you the sort of quick overview. Butter.
Love it.
So, and then Judy made potato salad. Babe, Patrick is not a fan of potato salad. So,
But I'll give it a shot.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't put sugar in my potato salad, and I make it with mayo and not Miracle Whip. I
Yeah.
also use sour cream and chives and dill pickles, and there's also one jalapeno that I threw in there, not thinking that I completely forgot that the jalapenos that I grew this year were extra spicy, so there's a little kick in it as well.
All right.
Yeah. It's different. This is not the weird, sorry,
I can-
Midwest, but this is not some weird sweet potato salad shit that I completely shocked my system when I showed
This is
up
not
here.
stuff you will buy in the store.
Right.
Not at
so,
all.
yeah, I may not be a general fan of potato salad, but I have not had Judy's, and
All right.
I am open to trying. She sold me.
Deal.
It
We got Hebrew National hot dogs for the kids for Beckett. I meant to ask you too. I need to call her by her full made up name so I could.
Rebecca
Yeah, Rebecca and
Flinnard.
Flinner.
All right, we got to give a little backstory. So my kids' names are Beckett and Flynn, and they one day asked that because they met like somebody with a shortened name, and they're like, "Do we have nicknames?" And I said, "Your names are your nicknames." And they said, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Yeah, Beckett is short for Rebecca, and Flynn is short for Flinnard." And so,
Flinnard.
like every, like good, just generic, I'm big on the dad puns and everything, and just like, "Oh, dad," like that's those nicknames stuck. I'm just trying to toy with them or give them a hard, like not a hard time, but like just kind of rib them a little.
Yeah.
Give them the Rebecca or Flinnard.
Well, I'm bringing it back just for a minute to see if I can get him going to confuse him for a bit.
And Flynn just goes, "Whatever, Patrick."
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
He's got to add more letters on there somehow. He'll get it later
Yeah,
on.
he's like, I'm like, you can call me Dad. Whatever, Patrick. Now he's gonna think like anybody with a, he hears their full name for the first time.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, "Is that made up? who adds a Rick at the end of their name? Patrick. What is that?"
Okay. I needed that. But anyway, so today we're going to get into 5 Lessons to Live by Dr. Wayne Dyer, It is pretty inspiring stuff. I listened through just a little bit of it, so it's got the 5 lessons, so we'll probably listen to the first 2, and then we'll check it out again next week. But Judy and I have had a kind of a roller coaster of an emotional week. It's just been strange. I realized that I liked that I have the discovery, and I really still feel it, that I'm going through continued growth. You know, last week I'd mentioned that I realized that I got a lot of stuff to do, and I realized that I do, so that's good. We started the Dr. Huberman morning routine. So for me, that is, obviously, he says, you know, you got to wake up early. It's kind of a key to success and the way your brain
I think we
works.
got that dialed, though. We had that dialed before.
Yeah, I'm up at between
We
4:30 and 5 anyway. But the other thing that has been just, I cannot believe how beneficial to me it is. It's going to sound gross. Wake up, drink a glass of Himalayan sea salt water.
It's just a 1/4 teaspoon in like a 12-ounce glass. It's not like heavily. It's not like you're drinking the ocean.
Sure.
With a squeeze of lemon in there, and it does just wonders for like blood sugar regulation. Because I'm also doing the intermittent fasting of the 18-6.
Okay.
So we won't eat until 11:30 a.m. And I've tried this before, but it didn't seem like my blood sugar would allow me. But man, it's been really good. My sleep has been ridiculous again. So essentially, you know, we're done eating by 5:30 p.m. And Judy and I have just cut out our desserts. You know, usually we have nothing crazy, but it's always involving some kind of whipped cream or something. And then by the time I go to bed lately, it was just like, bloated, farting. And then, you know, not getting deep, restful sleep. So there's a little bit of that sacrifice involved, but man, the mental energy I've had. Oh, and Judy has tried this before, but today is day 3, and I'm doing get in the shower, do the regular shower, clean myself, and then 90 seconds ice cold.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I get out of the shower.
The Scottish shower.
Yeah. Patrick, I get out of the shower, I'm like borderline high. Because the way that you're forced to breathe and inhale all of the oxygen, and they have shown that there's a 250% dopamine release increase during that time, and just kind of sets you up. And the rest of it is get some sunlight, you know, stay mobile all day, all that good jazz. But I just feel like I hit a rut in the last couple weeks that I needed to do something different, because what I was doing just didn't seem like it was making me feel well. You know, there's phases of our improved health that we did, and that was we quit drinking. Number 1. First 10 days, I swear to God, we lost a pound a day. You know, a lot of that was water and salt and all the bullshit your body was retaining. But
we're not ingesting the amount of carbohydrates that we were when we were drinking as well.
Yeah. But I don't know. It would just, you know, we get to those points to where you're like, am I happy? Am I doing everything I can? You know us, we're always up in our head trying to navigate and figure out what's going on. And this latest one is just super simple for me, and it seems to have made a profound effect on my mental energy as I get older. So, yeah. Yeah. But the roller coaster that we're talking about is Judy and I have caught ourselves having some pretty woe is me moments. You know, we talk a lot about making sure that we're waking up having gratitude and thinking positive and being grateful and being happy. But fuck, at the end of the day, we are humans. And man, so I figured out this morning that what I've been doing is I grasp to old memories while I'm falling. It's really unhealthy for me still. I went into, it started Monday night, started with some military thoughts, and then it started to really just cascade into all of the bad shit I've done in my life. it was, and I couldn't stop it. It was really self-deprecating. Like, what are you doing, dude? You know what I mean? Like, stop. But I think it's part of the continued healing that I'm doing. My brain's like, all right, heads up, I'm going to crack open this casket. Oh, fun. And you're going to fucking look at it for a couple days. You know what I mean?
Here's our
It's like,
cabinet
why
of
is this
curiosities.
what is this happening?
This is the vacation. Do you see?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah. So I told Judy, I said, I came home Monday. I'm like, we're laying in bed. And I said, I feel like I'm being dishonest with you. And she's like, yeah, pray tell. You know, what's going on?
Like, okay, what did I not hear?
And I said, I have this deep desire to sit down and tell you all of the bad shit I've done since I can remember in my life. And she's like, do you want to do that? I said, well, no. I think that is unhealthy to do in a relationship anyway, because it's not anything I've done this is, you know, like even before our marriage, you know, youthful shit. Like I killed a cat, serial killer shit.
Whoa. Like, I gotta process some stuff.
I know, you know, just stuff I did. I told Judy, I'm like, when I was in Korea, I got super drunk and I just slapped the shit out of this corporal. I feel so bad about it. I mean, I slapped him for like 5 minutes. Like he almost fucking knocked him out. I could have got court-martialed for that, but I was trying to make a point. But anyway, it's stuff like that. And Judy's like, okay, do you want to talk about it? I said, no, I don't know. I feel like I'm lying to you by not sitting down and giving you a fucking laundry list of negative shit that I've done all my life. I said, I guarantee you, no therapist is going to be like, you need to sit down and tell every white lie, clarify everything, all the bad shit you've done in your entire life, tell that to your spouse. It's not a thing.
No, but you know, I think there's some rooted desire there to purge. We talk about, you literally said it, setting up this discussion. As I am falling, I grab onto old memories.
Yeah.
You know, I have this image in my head of somebody falling, and the only things that they know, you know, if your life has been littered with those moments, of course you're going to grab after them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's your point of reference. And just because the past isn't something that, you know, like you'd like to think no matter how much growth that you have, I'm a better person now, or that's pretty rudimentary. But like, you know, I'd like to think I've become more compassionate and empathetic, and you know, really challenging my growth. And then you look back and you see this, like, it's almost as if it's a disdain for, like, I'm not that person anymore, right?
Yeah.
So there's two sides to this, I think. One is like a samskara, like there needs to be some, it may not be dumping it out for Judy, you know, like just dumping it all over the table for be like, all right, this is it, I'm done. You know, like, here's all the bad stuff. Maybe that's your brain telling you that desire, like, there's still stuff that needs to be purged, more or less, or I should say let go, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you're struggling with, how you feel like when you were slapping that corporal, like, you may not need to have that whole discussion with Judy, but you know, like, maybe there's some inner work or dialogue that we can begin to say, like, why was I attached, or what drove me, what was the underlying fear or motivation there, or I don't know. I'm not that coach there to be able to walk you through that. But
maybe you just haven't forgiven yourself for doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. I'm still trying to figure out how to give myself grace and compassion for me. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm at now with my mental health journey. So it's good. But I continue to get surprised by shit that pops up, you know. So,
are you? I think I mentioned before, but are you familiar with loving kindness meditation?
No.
I'm not saying this is your answer, but the principle behind it is learning to give yourself grace, and you do so starting inward. You know, the items closest to you, right? You know, like learning to give yourself more, and you learn to, like, reach your circle outwards. You know, you image and project compassion to your closer circle. And then the idea is you keep on growing it till outwards till you get to the people that, you know, ultimately, like, you know, on sight of them that you feel like you can't stand, right? So it's exercise, building the reps of learning how to give compassion to yourself. Are you going to be able to give compassion to yourself for your worst acts that you've done in your past? Maybe not yet. And yet is the key word. You know, like, you're working backwards, John. If you have just awoken now to sort through decades of stuff and to get to the, you know, like, you're going to have to continue to go down that path to be like, all right, I'm not quite ready to approach that one, but, you know, what other items, you know, can I reflect on, and, you know, maybe raise my awareness and bring compassion for that situation.
Yeah.
Not excusing the behaviors or trying to dismiss or diminish them, but, you know, like, finding a way to bring yourself for compassion for those. And then eventually over time that grows, right? For your...
Well, plus we've spent decades, you know, with that critical voice in our head. So for us to change that dialogue, it's not going to be an overnight thing. We're going to have to, it's a work. You got to work on it.
Yeah, I'll be honest here too with that. The inner critic, you know, as much as I like to think I have been progressing towards equanimity, like, I almost feel like that voice has extinction events. Every now and then, like, it may be getting less and less over time and less pointed when it does appear, but there are a few instances where it wants to come, and, like, it's just like a firework of explosion, you know, like, it's angry. And that is just a constant reminder that, you know, I don't think that's something that's gonna be gone, you know. So that's just a new way of finding out, like, you know, hey, I may be managing it well over time, but there's still items there that I need to be aware of and sort through. And, like, it's not something I'm going to be able to transcend from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good idea. I need to do more meditation on that.
And like I said, meditation may not be the avenue. Remember, we always argue for modalities here. You know, I'm sure we'll find some stuff in the YouTube clip today, and other modalities to, like, help change that. So just, you know.
As long as we're open to, you know, other tools and other modalities and different ways to act and learn and create pathways for us as humans, as for our growth, I think, you know, we're good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. It's very nice having you both in our lives.
We love you too, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do gratitude round robin, and then we'll get into the clip. Today we do need to sort of wrap it up at the top of the hour because we got our family engagement. We'll have people coming over. So, by the way, today, Judy and I, okay, it's the 30th, 4 days out, but today I want to announce to everybody that we're celebrating our 2 years of sobriety.
Yes.
So Judy and I had a nice discussion about where we're at with drinking and if we crave it and all of that good stuff. So real quick before we do the gratitude, Judy's had dreams lately about drinking that are really, you know, she wakes up, she's like, I can't fucking believe what I did in my dream. And it's just these weird nonsensical, you know, I did it too. I've had, you know, just it. Anyway, where we wrapped up, this is gonna be a long discussion. So where we ended up with is, you know, our subconscious or whatever is just reflecting on the stuff. Judy and I, we were so miserable in our alcoholism that coming out on this end, I know we're not alone. There's millions of people out there, hopefully, that have gone through this. But, you know, I told Judy, I said, imagine that day. I said, imagine if tonight we got drunk what we would be going through in the morning. It would be, Patrick, I can't imagine the misery, the shame, it would be
the
a
self-loathing.
world. Oh my God.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I'm glad I feel that way. You know, we have an inept ability to always play the tape forward. But
Yeah.
it brought me a moment of solace and peace knowing that we're in this stage. But man, the thing that freaks me out is the thing that we've talked about here too, is that there's folks that have been, you know, sober for 10, 15 years and
they're still excessively unhappy. Yeah.
or no, falling off the wagon, you know.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Those are crazy stories to hear, but okay. Gratitude. Who wants to go first? I can keep going.
Go.
Baby, you want to go? You want me to go?
No, go ahead.
All right. I didn't have to think too hard about this when it happened to me last night. Judy and I were watching, by the way, I'm making the proclamation. The Crown on Netflix is the best series in the history of all humankind and human being ever. It's the best. Dad will attest. I bet he's going, hell yes, speak the truth, brother. The Crown on Netflix. My God.
I don't see my father saying anything like that, but go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so we went to bed like 7:30, and you know, it's Friday night, and we were just laying in bed, and Nessa, the boxer, she was up in between us, her 80 pounds of love, and then Ozzy, the pity, got up there and he laid his head on her ass. So they're, you know, like yin yang, black and white dogs. I just realized it was kind of apropos.
Yeah.
And so he was falling asleep. She was sleeping. Judy was reading her book, and I was just laying there with my eyes closed, peaceful and happy. And it really caught me like 2 years ago on a Friday night, this would not have been a thing, you know?
No.
Not just because we would have been drunk, but by 7:30 for sure on a Friday, we would have had a couple bottles of wine under us and a pizza, all kinds of fats, triglycerides floating around in our bloodstream, making us miserable as we got drunker throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
But what continues to be a pleasant surprise to me is that I'm able to have peace. You know, we've talked about this before, and that is, I think that's the fear. That's the fear that I had. I think you did too. Judy had it. A lot of alcoholics or drug addicts, when they think about their sober selves, they don't understand. Like I did. I didn't envision myself. Like, how am I going to be happy? How am I going to be happy if I'm not drunk? It's such the mind fuck of the alcoholic brain, you know? It's your poison. You're poisoning and killing yourself. And then you're thinking, how can I be happy and healthy without this? But hey, turd nugget, fucking quit drinking and you'll be happy and healthy. Oh, it's that easy?
It's just that easy,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Well, I told John last night, I said, deep down, I kept telling myself that all the, the benefits from smoking pot and, some of the things that it helps, which I don't have medically. And deep down inside, I'm still telling myself, you're lying to yourself. If you keep doing this, you're going to be a marshmallow by the time you're 70. So just quit. But yeah. So
yeah, that's my gratitude. I'm able to be peaceful and happy. Having this event today, I realized this is the first time I've smoked a salmon too. Another ritual from my drunken days, and having people over. This used to be, I'd have some anxiety by now for sure as people were getting ready to come over, but I would just.
How many beers deep would you be?
Oh, it would have been glasses of white wine by now, just to get rid of that, so I can mellow myself out and make sure that I was putting on a good parade, when people came over.
A good show.
Yeah, because I always thought that, well, that was the other thing too. Like, I don't know if people would like the sober John. That's the dumb excuse we make. So anyway, we got friends coming over, and we're peaceful and happy about that. So
2
years.
I
sober.
I still have a little bit of a control brain going on right now, but
Yes.
yeah, yes, I do.
I have a lot of bit of control brain going on right now.
Yeah. All right, Patrick, you're up then. Gratitude.
First, congratulations. Now you get to use the joke. I don't know if it's a joke, but I haven't had a drink in years.
Yes. Yeah.
2 years, man.
Years
That's
plural.
awesome.
Yeah.
Years
Yeah.
plural.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
that's great work. Lately I've still been dealing with I don't know what you want to continue to call it, the bluzz, or just like I feel like in the rut as well. But I was reflecting this week, like I am so grateful for just like, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit of a struggle, but like there is no desire to drink.
Yeah.
And talking now through that, I remember like some of those weeks, like I said, I never had an issue at work, but I just remember, I guess I could explain it as like you hit the autopilot so hard that like, like the drinking thinking takes over, like to the point where like, I wasn't drunk at work, but like the only thing I was thinking of was like when I was at home.
Oh yeah.
And going to drink, and then you like, spend the next, as soon as you get home, you're just kind of in that haze, and then you just lather, rinse, and repeat, and then you get to the weekend, and then you do like a strong, if you have a 4 or 5 day weekend, doing a bender through that,
Yeah.
and just making that whole time like, just blip off the map.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I'm so thankful. Like, I was just thinking about like when I would have the case of the bluzz in the past, like I would love to bury myself in one of those.
Oh yeah.
Right. And the stronger the fuckets, the deeper the run that you wanted to do, or that you were more than willing just to put on the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil face. You're just like, this is what I'm doing. I'm drinking. I'm having fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you weren't really having fun. You're just busy deluding yourself.
Right.
Now what I'm trying to say is like, it's nice, done enough work to know that this too shall pass, and I have good friends, and we talk through stuff. I have a strong support system, so if anything, like I said, I'm super grateful that like, I remember the early days of just trying to like manage that itch, and like I said, like, feel the blues, but like there's nothing remote close to about wanting a drink.
Good.
At all.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I think you're going through the growth too.
Yeah.
You got the waves of it, Patrick. So keep on growing. You're a happy little tree, man. Reaching for the sky.
Yeah.
All right. Judith, my beautiful bride, what's your gratitude?
My gratitude is just for the people around me, for my brother-in-law Guy sends me little what are those
Affirmations.
called? Thank you. He sends me little affirmations once a day, which I think you guys get too. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the support system that we have with all three of us and doing this show. I'm grateful for my, the support of my dad and my mom and my sister. And I'm just grateful for the people around me. I mean,
Nice.
I don't think I could do this by myself.
I think you could, babe. You're a very strong woman.
I'm just grateful that I have people around to help.
All right.
That's it.
We're grateful to be here. So I left my phone out there. I told Guy I was going to use his affirmation that he sent this morning, and it's basically this. It's much longer. I think you get them too, right? Michelle passes them on to you.
She does.
Yeah. Did you know that, babe? Michelle sneaks them on over to Patrick.
Sneaky Pete.
Yeah, but it is basically when you are thinking about happiness and gratitude, because your mind can only do one thought at a time. You can't focus on being negative or sorrowful.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're sad, just think the happy thoughts. I know, way easier said than done, but take some
Just
practice.
downward dog your way out of it.
Downward dog your way out of it.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the 5 lessons to live by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it'll spur some discussion for us, I'm sure. So let's kick it on over to the browser view, and here we go.
When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Albert Einstein once observed that the most fundamental and major decision that you have to make in your life is this: do I live in a friendly or a hostile universe? Which is it? Is it a universe that is filled with hostility and anger and people wanting to hate each other and people wanting to kill each other? Is that what you see? Because when you see the world that way, that's exactly what you will create for yourself in your life. This is from great scientific minds. And the interesting thing is that this is not just a clever play on words, that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I'd like you to imagine the following scene. You're in your house. You've got your car keys in your hand. The lights go out. Power failure. You can't see a thing. You stumble around in your living room and you drop your keys. And you look around for a moment and you realize that you're never going to find them in the dark. But you look outside and you notice that the street lights are on. So in your mind, a light bulb goes off. I'm not going to sit around here in the dark and grope around looking for my keys when there's a light on outside. I'm going to go out here under the street light and I'm going to look for my keys. Why are you laughing? This makes a lot of sense. So you're out here and you're groping around and you're looking for your keys and you're looking and your neighbor comes along and says, "What happened, Wayne?" "Well, I dropped my keys." "Oh, I'll help you look for them." And the two of us are now down here looking for our keys. And looking. Finally, he says to me, "Excuse me, but where did you drop your keys?" "Well, I dropped them in the house." He said, "You mean to tell me that you dropped your keys in the house and you're looking for them out here in the streetlight? Doesn't make any sense." And I said, "Well, it doesn't make any sense to grope around in the dark when there's light out here." Now you laugh and you think how silly that is, but isn't that exactly what we do when we have a problem, a difficulty, a struggle that is located inside and we're looking for the solution outside, someplace outside of ourselves? It would be like going to the doctor and telling him all of your symptoms. And the doctor says, "Oh boy, you've got a lot of symptoms." And he starts writing out prescriptions. You need a prescription for this symptom, you need a prescription for that symptom. And finally, he gets this 4 or 5, and you go to walk out, and you say, "Well, I'd like my prescriptions." He said, No. I'll give this one to your mother-in-law, and I'll give this one to your neighbor, and I'll give this one to your daughter, and I'll give this one to your father. I mean, you're the one with the struggles and with the difficulties, expecting somebody else to change or something outside of you to get better in order for you to make your life work.
Yeah, pretty profound. I like that. I'm guilty of it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's why, again, we're very fortunate, like we're talking about, to be able to have this outlet. I look forward to this so much on Saturdays as I'm going through my stuff during the week, and it forces me to, reflect and think about, what are you doing? Then I always take away, Patrick, you're such a sage of wisdom.
Sorry. I can't with a straight face.
No, really. We have, it's been so nice to be able to cultivate a friendship amongst us to talk about this stuff and have a sort of a catalyst for mental health discussions. But yeah, that one is definitely something that I'm guilty of. Like, why am I out here fumbling around? The problem's inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
this week, actually, since we were talking about going on the little bit of an emotional roller coaster, there has been a few times to where I've felt that uncomfortable feeling, and that little bit of unhappiness or anxiety or something, and I immediately, fall back on old ways and old emotions and try and look for an external thing to deal with what is going on, and it's such a reaction, but not 2 or 3 seconds later, I sit back down and I say, okay, and I turn that look inward and say, okay, why is this emotion happening? Why am I feeling this way? And if I just take a few minutes and focus on that, usually the answer will come. Not all the time, but usually the answer will come. And I'm able to, at that point, say, okay, this is why I'm unhappy. Let's deal with this at the root level of the problem, instead of trying to look outside and start throwing stuff at it, because it just doesn't work. But it still happens. We've been doing this for 2 years now, and I still have those issues, of immediately my first reaction is to look external.
Yeah. I just still have this image of, Roy Kent at the end of the show, just being like, after all this work, I thought I would be not me. I thought I'd be a better person, right? Why am I still me?
Yes.
And, I think that's, for me, that's the beautifully tragic.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I don't know. I got a lot of emotions trying to sort through that.
I think that's what a lot of people who are in recovery, or people who are wanting to get in recovery, they have those feelings of, why am I not different because I've, taken this huge step? Why am I still in the same shell? I personally reverted back to not loving myself for who I am. And you can't really go forward with loving anything else until you're able to really love just who you are. The messed up shitbag that you are, then you can't really move forward.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that statement too, Patrick, that you said, after all this work. I had one of my biggest emotional breakdowns, and it was right before I got off of my medication, because I was out on a run, and I was out there running and crying. I'm sure I look like an amazing inspiration of society out there.
Snot flying everywhere, tears all over the place.
Playing in the background.
Yeah. And I came home and I told Judy, I was just like, when does it end? I quit drinking. I'm eating healthy. I'm exercising. I'm really, putting in a lot of care and feeding on my mental health. And I'm fucking miserable. I was just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling this way. Just tired of it. But that was a little bit of medication-induced psychoses, if you will.
But I still think a lot of people still go through that.
Yeah, and that's why in today's day and age of the internet, I do caution people with the whole "your mileage will vary" analogy of don't. This is what I did when I got sober. I'm like, what's going to happen in 30 days? What happens in 6 months? And the internet's like, well, here's what'll happen. I'm like, fucking liars. That did not happen.
Do you remember what the premise of Inception was? That at a certain point, the main character is able to plant a small thought in their mind, and it becomes like the part of their identity. And he has the regret because he did that to his wife.
Oh, that's right.
Of, this is not reality, and she couldn't escape that.
Yeah.
I feel with some of our behaviors with addiction, like we seek we seek elsewhere, meaning like our current status is not okay, whatever, right? So, you know, chemically, whatever, like emotionally, we've always sought elsewhere. And I've talked about this before, you know, that's framing it to the point of like, you are not okay, right? By approaching that. And in reality, that is okay. What I deal with is just like, I feel like at its fundamental core, wrapped inside of that is not only are you not okay, whatever I hate and disdain your current position of where you're at right now. You need to be fucking elsewhere. Like, and I'm not trying to say like it's a voice. I'm trying to say that's it's a it is like one of those things that is like so woven into the subconscious that it feels like it always propels me, you know, like it is such a hard driving factor. Like I'm very grateful for the work that we get to peel back the onion and see, you know, everything that we do, but I know that one is there and I know it exists, but it is like way down there.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think that's been there for your whole life,
Oh yeah.
or since you were a child?
I mean, you know, Dr. Gabor Mate has talked about this, like, you know, it begins in the womb, right? If a mother's under duress or, you know, some sort of stress, you know, like the way the brain wires and fires starts from then. And I'm not trying to place blame or anything else. This is just the very nature of our being, you know? And that's why I'm also trying to say, like, it is deep into my core because it was planted there very early.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm just kind of just babbling at this point and just throwing it out there. Like, it just, you know, I don't know. Sometimes it just is frustrating when I feel that so deep into my core. Like, you know, it's one of those things that you reflect. I can't downward dog my way out of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, it's like this weird food stuck in your teeth or like piece of skin in your mouth that you just keep tonguing and you can't let go of. And, you know, like, no matter how much you want to like om or meditate your way out there, and no matter how good of a state that you know, like, I know ebbs and flows, no matter how high I get now on those flows, like, it still feels like, I don't know, maybe this is my inner critic still sitting there and he's like, hey, asshole, all this work and expansion that you're doing, you know, ultimately, you don't fucking like yourself and you don't like where you're at right now and you're being driven that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to learn to reconcile that. You know, we also know that growth is necessary for our needs. And so I know I will get there eventually. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I think I'm just vocalizing the frustration of like how deep that one is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a slightly different scale, you're doing the same thing that Judy and I do, and that all kinds of addicts and alcoholics do. There's no solution to it but just that, you know, like you've mentioned, that we just have to keep going through it.
Yep.
And it's just it's just, you know, it's just like working out. Just our brain is constantly doing it now that it's not pickled.
Yeah.
And it's working through this stuff.
There's a lot of times that I when I get that voice or that feeling or whatever, I really have to just say, you know what? I don't have time for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You go away.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Just shut up. I don't want to hear from you right now. And that's the only way I can deal with it at the time.
For me, that doesn't work so much. It just gets it's so loud and pervasive in there. So, but I found sometimes I just sit and just let the thoughts go, and they just, I don't want to deal with it, but just the way my brain fires is, just I just have to let it go. That's the one thing that my therapist told me I can do. She's like, when those thoughts happen, just let it go, because you trying to suppress it isn't doing anything except creating a fucking battle ring inside of your head anyway. And
that's a good point.
What resists persists.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
I don't know. I like the way this show is turning out. It's kind of solace and real. This is all of us struggling with. I think the three of us have the sort of same genetic makeup, in a sense that we want to be happy, we want to be good people, but we're just babies again. Trying to, Judy and I had 30 years of hard drinking under our belts. I got a comment from Grant. He's a colleague of mine. He says, "You seem to be much happier at work now." That's very nice for someone to notice, because way back when I worked closely with him, when he posted that just now, it made me reflect about how I used to be back in 2015, 2014. I was fucking miserable. And I never gave myself the time to work through shit, to talk about myself to myself or to Judy. It was work. And then, like you said, just come home. God, heaven forbid it was a 3 or 4 day weekend.
You gotta stay pickled. You gotta stay in stasis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking in circles, and in a really bad way. I'm trying to say that, again, we just got to give ourselves grace and be able to sit down and take a moment to say, hey, I'm just working through stuff. I'm going through things, and this is going to pass. I'll end up on the other side. And guess what? I'll be happy for a while, but then, surprise, I might hit another roadblock of stuff, and then I'm going to have to work through that. That's us humans being, we can't have happiness without the negativity either. That's what's frustrating to me.
And plus it's not, I mean, we're gonna have those negative things in our life all the time. It's just part of being humans, but it's how we react to those negative things now.
Yeah.
Instead of when we were pickled. Now we try and take it on and process it instead of smothering it and hoping it goes away.
Yeah. And speaking of growth and change, so I recently I was asked if I was interested in taking a new shift at work. It's a 4x10, so four 10-hour days and then off for 3. You know what the first fucking thing that popped into my head was? The calculus of drinking. I shit you not.
No way.
Yes, because
my God.
It was what are the hours? And then, like, before I could rationalize it, my brain went down this. So Sunday morning you start at 9:50. So you'll be able to get pretty drunk on Saturday night. Then, oh my God, you get off Wednesday night, you'll be drunk Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you don't have. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you doing? Was it a
I was gonna say, when did it finally hit you that you were thinking the wrong things?
Yeah, I was out in the workshop this morning, getting some things ready, and mowed the lawn real quick before the rain comes in. Ooh, by the way, we're out of the heat dome. 20 degrees cooler today. It's not 103. It's only 83. So
I had to stay up late for work and miss my window to mow the lawn. And the crabgrass farm is ready to be harvested.
Yeah, it's that time of year for the crabgrass to pop out. But something popped into my head too, where I realized, okay, so I helped a buddy out by building his desk. Something I wouldn't have done years ago because I was too drunkenly selfish, and it would have interrupted my evening plans. So
yes.
There was some cardboard
Definitely.
out there in the back of the shop, and I was picking it up, and I realized to myself, I'm like, oh, I forgot this. No big deal. I should have had him take all of this cardboard because he lives in an apartment complex. He could have put it in their big old recycled dumpster. But then I was like, you know how things spiral just like that? Then I was like, oh, I'm a dependable person. Friends can count on me and Judy now for stuff. And, when we need to be made available, we can be available for things. And
Yeah. Instead of having to think, okay, well, am I going to be drunk by then? Am I going to be hungover by then?
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that.
we're now dependable citizens and good friends. All right.
Yes.
Patrick, you seem like you have the doldrums today. We're going to wrap it up.
You're gonna put the kibosh on it before.
Yeah. It's a
Before he melts down in the chair. Yeah.
no. Is there anything? Did you want to talk about anything?
No, I mean, I have a lot of gratitude for being able to come here and share this stuff, because I think growing up, I had a lot of these types of thoughts, and I've really prided on myself on being able to articulate and relate to people, and kind of lay thoughts out, which is great when you're sharing the good stuff, right? But it gets scary when you can build this like very intricate, real, like somebody's like, oh, you got the blues, and you're like, and then you start going into detail on it, and like trying to describe a soul-crushing manifesto, and they're like, oh, okay, that's a little much, so basically, that's where it started for me to learn to like internalize a lot of stuff. Not everything's able to be shared, and this is one of the few spaces that I get to talk about that. And I realized it was dark, but at the same time, I didn't really get a place to release some of that. So I get, I mean, it's recorded. I get to look back and be like, oh man, you were kind of. But you know what? That's part of the spectrum.
And that's what we're here for.
I get to talk about it, describe it, and leave it here and be gone with it for today.
Yeah, Judy and I, full disclosure, a couple months ago, we were talking about you, and we noticed that you have a very strong tell. And that is when you get to a point where something is bottled up, you shut down really fast.
Hard.
Yeah.
Shut down hard. And to me, though, I know it's a tell and you describe it, but for me, like, the opposite happens inside for me.
Tell me about it.
Like,
so you shut down on the outside?
I shut down on the outside, but like that's like, it's like, I don't know, like you're peering into like a house or maybe an arena or something, and somebody just like is like, all right, we're done here, and they shut the doors.
Yeah.
And then the camera flips around and it's a fucking circus on the inside.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, they're not watching now. Now it just like pops off, and like it feels like you hit like one of those turbo strips in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
As soon as like I'm able to just like, sometimes when I feel like I can hide behind the niceties of everyday exchange and not, it feels like my thoughts have to run a stream of consciousness through my mouth a lot of times. Sometimes that's good. And when I can't do so, or have trouble articulating, or like feel, like where I need to like defensive, like it doesn't stop. It gets worse when, like it's just that it's not coming out of my mouth at that point.
Well, I'm glad you're able to come here and be able to release this stuff. I mean, I can just imagine it's got to be just horrible to have to keep it all in.
I think Patrick has a lot more to release.
Oh, and I'm finding, and now I get to find a way to release it. Before it was like you said, you get to just pickle it, put it in stasis.
Yep.
Right? So.
You have a menagerie in there, my dear.
Yep. And hey, we've got we're here every Saturday. Let's start to crack some of these things open, just like we all have been. Okay, check it out. We got Chew Hand, we got Dogs Going.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap it up. I realize we got to get some stuff ready to go for our feast. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Really, we really appreciate everybody subscribing and just joining us, and
367 subscribers.
All right.
Yes. Okay. thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday. We're going to continue on with the 5 Lessons to Live by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And we got a couple other ones queued up after that. And let's roll the outros, and then we'll do our final sign-off here.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please contact the Suicide and Crisis Hotline at 988. Also, if you need help with addiction recovery for yourself or someone you know, please check out Al-Anon. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. You are loved.
Thanks for listening. Check out the Sober Mind live stream at youtube.com/@sobermind.
Did I tell you? So last weekend I said, Dad, at the beginning of the show and the end when we're rolling the intros and outros, do you mouth the stuff? He's like, yes. I talk along to myself, listening to myself. I'm like, you should. It's fucking epic. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Be kind to yourselves.
Yes.
My new catchphrase is fucking be kind to yourselves, man. With the dogs ready to go. Okay, like Dad says, you are loved. Find resources out there. Talk to people. Listen to people. I never thought, outside of my therapy a year or so ago, that this would end up being my therapy. So this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We get to do it, just sit here and talk, and then some people get all voyeuristic and watch and listen in on us. So that's awesome. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you all next weekend. Bye.